Ah, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I didn't know if that sound was working. Alrighty. Let me get this. Whoa, hey. Calm down, calm down. Okay. Hello to everyone who's on here or comes on. I'm going to be reading something that I wrote yesterday. All right, so I'm going to be looking over here at the laptop reading. All right. All right, baby. Daddy will be home soon. Yes. Yeah. Can you stay there on the couch and watch your cartoons? Enjoy your cartoons. Go sit down and watch your cartoons, please. Thank you. We'll grab your blanket. Yeah. Okay. Don't fall. All right. Okay. Yes, you did. There is a problem with the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office. The inspiration for this thing that I wrote is Jessica Easterly, Shade, Honestly Jen, Audrey Schmidt, Maria, I forget her last name. She was a friend of Jessica Easterly's. I do apologize for getting your last name, for forgetting. And Leanne Ferguson. Thank y'all for, those of you who are here with us, for inspiring me to write this. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine went missing, and all of his friends and family, including me, I was not family. Mommy. Okay. What? What, baby? I got to tell you, Mommy. You gotta tell me. I apologize, everyone. Just, what do you gotta tell me? What you gotta tell me? Can you go sit in your room and watch your Kindle? I'll be done in a little bit, okay? I love you. Okay. All of us, including me, went searching all over New Orleans for him. He was missing for months. We searched for months. We found nothing. Unbeknownst to us, for much of the time that we were running around New Orleans and sending and sharing missing persons flyers on Facebook, posts, and all over social media, his remains had already been found, and he was in the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office. Oh, baby. Okay. Do you want it? Ooh, a cow. Yeah, there you go. Oh, okay, I will put it on. Go sit down. I have to wear the crown, so. His death was ruled a suicide, but that was a very questionable decision. All that time we were worried for him and wondering where he was. Was he okay? All of that stress and fear could have been alleviated for his wife and family and friends if only the coroner's office had done its job. The coroner's office failed to check for distinguishing marks, etc. on any John Does, even after countless phone calls. Many of the people who called had problems. Finding out that he could have been identified shortly after he went missing was a direct punch to the gut for many of us, especially when you consider that many of those phone calls ended with whoever answered the phone hanging up the phone on the caller. Go sit on the couch so I can finish, please, okay? Go sit on the couch and watch your Kindle. I love you. Go sit down. Go sit down. Please. I cannot even begin to imagine what it was like for his family. Stop. Go sit down. Watch your Kindle. Creole. Okay, Creole. I apologize, y'all. Just give me 1 second. I will be right back. Here you go. Stay there. Okay. Apparently, the coroner of Orleans Parish, Dr. Dwight McKenna, had the beer plague. That made the news. But does it make the news that on the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office website, there is a page titled Graveyard Love? Staying in a violent relationship can be deadly. This right here is a perfect example of victim blaming and also of the usual standard of expectations that are heaped on women in DV situations. In all my life, I've never heard this term, graveyard love. What even the F is this BS? At least they did provide information about the National Domestic Violence Hotline and its phone number. That's good. That's at least one good thing. Really the only one. They make sure to point out that both partners can be violent. I suppose that a victim should never try to stand up for or defend themselves. They also advise victims to identify a safe spot in the home where they can hide if they need to. This is horrible advice in the city of New Orleans because, for one thing, many homes have shotgun-style interiors. One room leads into another, which leads into another. There's no hallway. And may not have doors to lock for safety. Also, many interior doors in a home are easily kicked in or kicked off their hinges. Logical, coherent thought was obviously lacking in the creation of this drivel. I am offering and would be happy to write up something for the coroner to publish in place of this useless bit of fluff. I would do this for free with joy in my heart. I could easily do this in less than a day. And it would actually be full of information that would be useful for victims. Graveyard love is not a thing. It is a desperate, typical attempt to perpetuate the overly romanticized old way of thinking about DV. It is outdated and defunct. And people in positions of authority need to either stop thinking this way and educate themselves fully on the subject or resign. Let someone who has that education and understanding take their place. It's only the lives of women and children on the line. The coroner's office seems to think that being flippant is fine. Whatever, it's just graveyard love. To say that I'm disgusted is a dire understatement. At least choking is pointed out as a thing to be aware of, but not why it is important. This frivolous bit of foobar is not even skimming the membrane of the surface of DV, and all of the nuance and context that typically surround DV issues are just frivolously tossed into the proverbial gutter, right along with professional integrity and compassion for families and loved ones of victims. Case in point, Jessica Easterly. Her family had to wait 530 days for her remains to be released to them. She was supposed to be released to her husband, which was problematic to say the least. We have an episode about Jessica's case. Jessica's family had to fight while grieving to get her release to them, when it should have been obvious that her SO had no interest in making arrangements for her in any way, shape, or form. 530 days. That is an eternity for family, friends, and for those of us who did not even know her to wait. That is cruel and unusual punishment of innocent people who just want to lay their precious loved one to rest. This is not the only 2 cases of obvious unprofessional conduct in the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office that I know of. This isn't even unusual. It is almost standard operating procedure at this point. These things don't make it into the news. These people who are forced to suffer don't seem to matter. I personally know of several victims who are just not important to the coroner's office or to NOPD. Some of them were sex workers or dancers. So they were not the perfect victims. They were more likely than not hardly even considered human enough to warrant concern. Or maybe their families or them were not connected to the right people to put a fire under the right asses. If you work in the coroner's office or NOPD and you don't care about victims of violent crime, resign. Open your workspace up for someone who will care and will do the work you are apparently incapable of doing. Who are you to judge the worthiness of a victim and if they will or will not have justice under the law? You have an incredibly important job. It is a job that can save lives if you actually fulfill your duties and do the right thing. Alrighty. So I was trying to look for news articles relating to other cases I know of. But like I said, there wasn't any news out there. Oh, that's it. I am not surprised. Wait a minute, I'm gonna pin that one. I want everyone to see that. Did you know that the coroner went to federal prison before he was a coroner? No, I didn't know that. I'm going to fully research and do a video on this whole thing, but it's hard to find information. I don't know why. I know of several people who, were violently murdered and they just, or were missing, and it's a normal thing to do. If somebody's missing, you call hospitals, you call the police, you call, not just call the police to file a missing person's report, but to see if that person maybe was arrested, right? So these are just normal things, and you might call the coroner's office or morgue also, right? And I've done this. I've called on behalf of several people I've looked for in New Orleans, and every single time I have been hung up on at least once or twice. I'm not even kidding. So when my friend went missing and people told me they'd been hung up on, I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. If you're not nice enough on the phone to whoever's answering, then they'll just They'll just hang up on you. They don't seem to take into consideration the fact that that person might be freaked out and not know where their loved one is, or might know that their loved one is there and they need help with something. There's a lack of compassion and consideration, and I wouldn't call it customer service, but professional conduct. Like, what is that? Who say what? um and it's just irritating, and I'm tired of the way that victims of violent crime are treated by law enforcement in general. She's singing happy birthday right now. So if you're not the perfect victim, then law enforcement might decide that they don't need to fully investigate your case, or or treat a crime scene properly, or take anything seriously. God forbid, if you're a woman and they consider you promiscuous. There are a bunch of cases out there of women who were rumored to be sleeping around a lot. What does that matter? That does not matter. So victim blaming, victim shaming, this, yet again, I grabbed the wrong. So the Orleans Parish Coroner, OrleansParishCoroner.com, they have a page on their website that says Graveyard Love. Stalking in a violent relationship, or staying in a violent relationship, can be deadly. I've worked in law enforcement. I have a degree. I have a lot of history and training with this, and I have never heard that term, and I don't ever want to hear it again. What in the hell is this happy horse shit? What? When I read that, I was like, what is this, about Romeo and Juliet? What kind of poetic nonsense is this? Isn't this issue serious enough to warrant some sort of coherence, some logic, some actual consideration? Maybe he just needs to go back to federal prison. I don't know, but I don't think he belongs in the coroner's office. I mean, he looks to be kind of elderly. Maybe he needs to go retire. Let someone young come in there. Someone who gets it. And so, okay. So my question was, does it normally take 530 days? What is the time limit, right? So how long do they have? How long does the legal next of kin have to make arrangements and have the body released for their funeral, etc., right? So I wanted to know. That's why I went to the website and found nothing. So then I called. Do you want to guess what happened when I asked how long? Do you want to guess? That's right, folks. If you guessed they hung up on me, you would be correct. They hung up on me. They did not answer the question. They just hung up. So I'm trying to be, due diligence. I'm trying to do my due diligence and research, right? And find out what the answer to that question is. And what happens? They hang up on me. And that was when I wrote this up. So now, along with all the other videos that I'm going to make, I'm also going to make videos about coroner's offices all over the country and how they treat victims and families of victims. And I want to try to get people to think about how victims of DV, etc., are treated posthumously, if I can. You know, and victim shaming, victim blaming, all of that. We need to switch all of that thinking. That's because they got shamed on the news the other night. Said we don't have like cable or anything. What was on the news the other night? Do you know what channel it was? I'll go look it up. And they should be shamed. They should be shamed. Fox 8. Okay, thank you. Because, I mean, after... It was... I don't know if you saw it, but it was all over Facebook when Shade went missing. And he was such a nice guy. He was a bookworm just like me. You know, we'd be sitting on a couch, both reading, you know, and every once in a while I would laugh or he would laugh and we would like look at each other and comment on whatever. And if it's on your Twitter, can you share that to my Twitter thing? I don't know what to call it. Can you share that to me on Twitter? I would. I'm not messing around. Like, it should not take 530 days. That is a year and a half. You know, I can see it, like, after Katrina, things were up in the air. It was chaos. You know, there are times when it would be difficult to release remains, and even with a pandemic, one would think they would want that space, right? There's more I could say, but I'm not going to. Maybe the so-called legal next of kin isn't the best person to release remains to, maybe, sometimes. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, I'm gonna have to look that up. Or, man, they had to say king cake. Now I want a king cake. Damn it. Okay, thank you for tagging me on it on Twitter. I'm still getting used to all the terminology for like Twitter, and I have no idea how to use Instagram yet. But yeah, I cannot fathom how the 3rd District of NOPD did not do a proper search of the crime scene. That blows my mind. That's like policing 101. How do you secure and process a crime scene? Like, I could sit here and explain it to you right now from memory, okay? And I mean, part of the reason I'm doing all this is because I have 2 daughters, and I do not have faith in the criminal justice system, or I just don't anymore. Are you okay? Okay, baby. All right. So yeah. Let me see. So yeah, I'm looking at. It made it in the news that Dr. McKenna had coronavirus, but it doesn't make it in the news that if you call the coroner's office looking for a loved one who is missing or whatnot, you might get hung up on. You might get told that you are rude. One time I was told that I needed to adjust myself. And this last time, I just asked a simple question. Hey, shh. Is there a time limit for how long a legal next of kin has to make arrangements for someone's remains? I wasn't rude. I said good morning.
What time is this?
What time is it? It is 4:57.
A car at
What?
a bedtime?
No, it's not bedtime yet. You can go lay down in your room if you want to, though.
Seat.
Well, you can take your Kindle and go in there. I'll be right here.
Okay.
Okay, baby. So yeah, I mean, I was polite. I was not there. There was nothing rude going on, but apparently me calling was rude. So that's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm irritated, is what I am. I told you at the beginning there was no time limit. I mean, shouldn't there be? I have so many questions, and many of them I can't say on here at the moment. I actually wrote down all of my questions. I typed them all out. And, at some point, I will do a video on it, later. But it just doesn't make sense to me. If you have one person who is doing nothing, and then you have family who actually loves that person and wants to give them a proper burial, why not let that family go ahead and do that? There I go being logical. Because that would free up space, and maybe I should become the coroner. And I'd have no medical background, but I would probably do a better job. I'm just saying. I would actually make sure stuff got done, and the people who worked there were polite to family and friends. Because there is no reason for the coroner's office to be so rude to people who are probably grieving and or freaked out because their loved one is missing. I've been there with people as I was helping them search New Orleans for their loved one, and they had the phone on speakerphone. And the amount of rage that I felt by how those people were talked down to, it's so condescending by that person at the coroner's office was just. Hi, how you doing? You okay?
I'm okay. My chair, it's gone.
Your chair's over here.
Uh,
Or do you mean the one in your castle? You can go sit in your castle.
no.
Okay.
You like me?
So, I mean, I have 2 daughters. Are my daughters safe in this city? I mean, but then really, is anyone safe in any city? Is my question. Hi. What, baby? Anybody can run for coroner. You just have to get voted in. Interesting. What do you mean?
I just want standard this neighborhood me.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Huh.
Huh.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know.
Want to watch this one?
No.
Okay.
No.
You have to go sit down on the couch right now. Mommy's working. Just for a little bit, okay? Here. You're gonna get mad if you. I'm telling you. Cartoon. Enjoy the cartoons while you can. That is interesting. We definitely need people in positions of authority who will actually work with integrity and compassion and logic, because when I could not believe what I was reading on that on that website. It blew my mind. I've never seen this term before. I don't know what in the hell it's supposed to imply, or why that's even used. What in the hell even is this?
Mommy.
Come here. Go sit in your castle. I know.
I can't lift it.
Well, you can go sit in your castle. You can take the blanket with you. Go ahead.
Make it.
Yeah.
Make it. No.
All right, so now I'm going to go. Wow, there's barely anything on here really about SA. It's just. I don't think they actually give a shit. That is interesting.
Mommy, I don't like to. I do this.
Uh-huh. And if you're not going to do your damn job, then go be a greeter at Walmart. Yeah, right. They do a better job. Well, maybe. I don't know. Baby girl, go sit in your castle or on the couch.
Do it again, Mommy.
Do what again? What do you want me to do again? Here, go.
For those two?
Go.
For those two?
I love you. She had a lot of sugar today. She had birthday cake today, so. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you. Man. Yeah, so the page that talks about SA, I mean, it's just basic information, but there's no it's like someone told them they had to do this, and so they did the bare minimum. Wow, that is interesting. Very interesting. In the news says check back soon for coverage. So in the press releases, there's accidental drug related, shooting. There's nothing on here about domestic violence. There's nothing on here about SA. So I don't think they really care. And I think they've made that apparent with their graveyard love BS. Jessica Easterly was not involved in a graveyard love situation. Addie Hall was not involved in a graveyard love situation. It was DV. It was domestic violence. And all of the other women that I know, that term is so monumentally offensive to me that I can hardly even quantify it. That makes me wonder. Well, I mean, he's an old guy, but are there any people? Is there anyone working in the coroner's office who understands the gravity of domestic violence? I asked that question, and then I kind of answer it myself and realize that I don't think so. I think they're just working a cushy job. They're just collecting that paycheck, and they don't give a care, a thought, whatever. So those are my thoughts on this. I will be making actual videos. I have a lot of research to do. I may actually have to call people that I know and track people down and talk to them, because what's in the news is it doesn't give you very much information. So yeah. Alrighty, this is kind of a short live stream for me. I'm doing another live stream later this evening about Marilyn Manson. Yay. And how I don't think that art, or being a musician, being an artist, musician, actor, what have you, should give you a pass when you do horrible things to people. And I might talk about other people as well, because there are so many that, should just write a bunch of names on a hat, pick one out. But anyway, so thank you to everyone who's here. If you watch the replay, thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. Please subscribe, share, ring the bell, hit all, do all the things. I appreciate every single one of them. Oh, we hit a milestone. We have 75 subscribers, and I'm thankful for every one of you. So yeah, you have the right to say no. Your no should be respected. If it isn't respected, cut that person out of your life. You do not need that. And also, graveyard love is not a thing. And also, coroners, you really need to educate yourself and up your game. All right. Thank y'all for being here, and see y'all later. That's not a problem. I hope you have a good night, Audrey.